Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to another deck building video. So today I thought, since I also saw some people asking for a good alchemy list, we might go a little bit deeper into the Alchemy Nilfgaard deck. I will show you what I tinkered together and why I think it's good. And so for that, I guess we're just gonna go into the in-game client. And I'm gonna show you my alchemy deck. Let's just go into the deck builder. So what I think is specifically interesting, we currently got a new meta report, and I was actually kind of surprised since Emir had actually a higher win rate than Jan Calvé. So what I was asking myself first is like if you play pro ladder or ladder, you want to have one archetype of Nilfgaard, and I was thinking which one to play. And the 0.2%, I was thinking maybe, although Emir is stronger, I'm still choosing Calvé because Calvé wrecks the mirror pretty hard. Like, if you play Calvé versus Emir, it's almost a free win. And for the deck building, we also gonna pick the good old Gwent up again. So currently what I have, I call the deck Usain Bolt. Currently what I have is this, starting with the gold slot. Well, we have Wilgeforce. If you take a look at him in the gold slot here, one of the better performers. Of course, there's Reinfarm who just overperforms, but he's not better performer, he's just up there. Let's say it like this. And what I think is especially nice, talking about Wilgeforce, so wait, let's move this down there, so we can have a better look, is that he helps you enabling that Kahir, enabling these ointments. I think that's pretty important, especially because there are a lot of matchups where you probably want to dry pass, so Wilgeforce is in for sure. The gold slot is actually the more interesting slot in this deck, I think. Next is Vesemir. I mean, it's actually kind of close. If you look at the win rates, I would actually prefer Triss. But I think the big point about Vesemir is that he can tutor you these silver cards. Oh my god. Like Mandrake, Runestone, and Blackblood. And I think especially the Blackblood and the Mandrake and the Runestone were like cards which you want in specific situations, like the Mandrake for sure. And therefore I choose Vesemir over Triss there, because you can get your silver slot a little bit thinned and getting to your key cards as well. I think Triss, if it's a very small edge between them, I think. About Reinfarm, we don't need to talk much, right? I think he's just, also performance-wise, he's just way up there. It doesn't seem like that much, like 0.4% over the second one. But it's definitely a lot. He thins for you, he gives you the spy, tutors you the spy. And if you want to have a finisher with Joachim, he finishes for you. It's for sure not the traditional gold slot, but I choose to include Kahir for now again. Normally there's Triss instead of him there. He is also not performing too well lately. But I think maybe he got a little bit better for this time slot of the meta, or like for this part of the meta again, because you see less Mandrakes. Mandrake makes him a lot weaker, and you see more like Deathwish Dagon, where I think he especially shines. Where Kahir shines is basically against decks where you want to have big finishers. For example, Skellige, Deathwish Dagon. And where you can just bleed them down round 2 because in the long round you're just too weak. That's why I think Kahir is doing quite decent. I'm not sure on him as well. I'm basically... That's kind of the slot I'm trying out at the moment. That makes the sweet part about Kahir. I think the gold slot is pretty hard to figure out which one is the correct one in Alchemy. But I think we have a pretty decent choice there. Also to say about Alchemy, I think the gameplay is not too hard with the deck, but the deck building is where it's at, right? If you have a good Alchemy build for the current meta state, your win rate will be quite higher. Let's go on to the silver slot though. So we have the Cantarella and the Joachim. I mean, we don't need to talk about these two since we're running Rheinfarn. They're quite self-explanational. And then we have Asire. I mean, Asire, if you look at the statistics, she's not super up there, but I think she is so great against Greatswords. She's so good against other Nilfgaard players. It makes her just good for me. And looking at the statistics, you always have to keep in mind, if you have like more skill-heavy cards, let's say, for example, Asire might be one of them because you have to shuffle the exact right cards, the percentage is not quite accurate, right? So you can take these percentages as a little bit of orientation, but don't take them too serious. Sometimes, yeah. Next we have the Black Blood and the Runestone. I think just solid cards to tutor with Vesemir. I think pretty sweet. Black Blood especially shining nowadays because the spies are in the graveyard now and you can just get the Ghoul or the Azrael, which gives you like sweet 17 or 18 stats. Runestone. I think what makes this card so strong is the flexibility on picks, right? And I have to say, I was playing it lately and I kind of started liking it more than the Expired Ale, which would be... It has a bit higher win rate, but there is this one thing I don't like about the Expired Ale. It's like, Nilfgaard Alchemy already has so many situational cards with the Viper Witchers or the Mandrake, or the Mahakam Ales. You rarely have standalone plays. And what the Runestone does for you, you can just jam him, create a silver card for the specific situation, and you're good to go, right? And this Expired Ale just makes the situation worse for you. So I think this is where it's at the moment. Yeah, I think the silver slot was a little bit easier for me to figure out. But I think myself the deck is not perfect yet. I'm also gonna tinker around on it the next days. Coming to the last slot, the Brawl slot. I mean, as you might have realized, guys, I have only 9 alchemy cards. And I think you don't need more than 9 at the moment. Against Greatsword, the biggest number you need is 9. You can kill the ships with it, and if they pull the Greatsword with the hero and damage it with the ship, you can still kill it. And even if they have one big Greatsword, we have the medic. I will talk about that later, the medic choice though. Viper Witcher and Novice, I think they are pretty self-explaining. They just kind of belong in there, so you can fin through your deck, and Viper Witcher being one of the key cards, obviously. So what I did, I cut basically an alchemy card, being the Swallow Potion or the Markamale, however you want to put it. I think the medic is just great against Skellige decks and sometimes against Deathwish Dagon to steal their Deathwish unit. It's just a great inclusion for the current meta, even though it says the win rate of it is not so good. But here again, we have another skill-heavy card. If you like play Wilgeforce too early, not having the medic in mind or the Joachim, you might have a brick there, and I think you have just to adjust this win rate a little bit, right, guys? And I think medic is a decent choice at the moment. You should run it. Coming next, Slave Drivers. Very good against Emir. Very good against Greatsword decks, against engine decks. Sometimes. It's just a very flexible card. I think the create mechanic itself does that. And also being quite synergetic with the ointment. Next interesting card, which you don't see too often at the moment. It's probably the Merdrum. I think it's nice to play sometimes, let's say, Calvei into Novice Merdrum, so we can't like Mandrake your Calvei, so Kahir is still active. Or you can simply like strengthen a Slave Driver. And most of the times you can just hit a very high buffed unit with the Merdrum. I think it's just... It's a flex slot. I think it's very often overperforming. I never had like the case where I said, oh, the Merdrum. And I think the more flexibility, the better, right, for the deck. That we run 3 ointments and 2 ales is pretty obvious. So, yeah. This will be my first part of this guide. I hope I could help you guys. The next time I will go to play a game with you, explain the mulligans a little bit. But as I said before, it's more about deck building with Nilfgaard Alchemy, not about the gameplay itself. So, hope you enjoyed it. Hope you're having a nice day, guys. See you guys next time.